Good day, viewers. Welcome to this online episode of JAMB 2017. In this session, we will be answering past question and answer. So I expect you to get your writing materials so that you can write down the answers to the questions that we will be answering. Okay? Now let's set the ball rolling. Okay, let's see the first question. The first question says, the mature sex cell which takes part in a sexual reproduction is referred to as, let's look at the options. Option A says gametes, B says fetus, C says embryo, D says zygotes. Do not forget that the emphasis to this question is actually placed on mature sex cell, okay? And that is the sperm cell in male animals, okay, and egg cell in female animals. Let's see our explanation for this. Okay, here you can see this the picture or diagram of the egg cell, and here is the sperm cell. By the time the egg cell and the sperm cell, okay, fuse together, you're going to have zygote. The answer to this is A, as we have said. Okay, next question. Question number 2. The biome that is characterized with large herbivores, few and scattered fire-resistant trees is which of the biomes are we actually referring to? Biome that has few scattered fire-resistant trees and even large herbivores, okay, inhabiting the biome. Now let's see the options. We have savanna, we have tropical rainforest, montane forest, and desert. We all know that the savanna is a biome with large herbivores due to what? The presence of grasses. Herbivores need to feed on these grasses, and that is why they inhabit that biome. Okay, so our answer here is A. Let's move to the next question. Question number 3. Red blood cells are also known as, okay, red blood cells. What is the scientific name of red blood cell? Let's see the options. We have erythrocytes, we have thrombocytes, we have phagocytes, we have leukocytes. These are the scientific names of the blood cells, okay? That is the corpuscles of the blood. Now, our answer here is actually erythrocytes, okay? As you can see, this is the picture of the red blood cell, okay, which is, you can see, okay, we said a red blood cell, which in humans is typically what? Biconcave and disc shape without nucleus. It does not have nucleus, okay? But the white blood cell actually has nucleus. Our answer to this question is A. Next question. Question number 4. The joint between the femur and the tibia is known as. What is the joint between the femur and the tibia called? Let's look at the options. Option A says hinge joint. B says ball and socket joint. C, the pivot joint. D, the gliding or the sliding joint. Okay, now I have a diagram here. You can see this is actually the diagram of the femur. This is on the tibia. Okay, now the joint that is formed between this bone and this bone is actually known as hinge joint. So our answer here is hinge, which is A. Next question. Question number 5. Digestive system. Okay, the topic, this question is from digestive system. We said, what is the primary function of cofactor? What is the primary function of the cofactor? We all know that enzymes actually work best in a certain temperature. And without this temperature, or below this temperature, enzymes cannot function very well. And for enzymes to function very well, we actually need some substances, some elements that will make this enzyme to function very well, and these substances are called cofactors. Let's see the explanation we have for this. If you read there, we said a cofactor is a non-protein chemical compound or a metallic ion that is required for an enzyme to function very well as a catalyst. Okay, now the answer to this question is actually A. Okay, it aids in enzyme function. So the answer here is A. Let's go to the next question. Question number 6, which is on ecology. We said, use the diagram below to answer the question that follows. The diagram represents, which diagram are we actually referring to or talking about? We're talking about this diagram, and this diagram is an anemometer, which is used to measure the speed of wind, okay? This is actually used to measure the speed of wind, okay? So our answer here is C, okay? This measures the speed of wind. This one measures the direction of wind. This one measures relative humidity in the atmosphere, while this one is used to measure the volume or the amount of rainfall, okay, in an area. Okay, next question. Question number 7, which is from genetics. Okay, coloration of the eye is dash variation. The coloration of the eye, okay, is what variation? Now, let's look at the options. Here we have physiological variation. We have morphological variation as B. C says adaptive. And D says recessive. Now, what could be the answer to this? Over there, we have our explanation to this, okay, what morphological variation is all about. We said morphological variation is actually the noticeable physical appearances of an individual. What is actually noticeable, okay, and physically in an organism, be it plant or animal, is referred to as morphological variation, okay? And if you go to this, you will see that the correct answer to this is morphological variation, because this deals with the physical attributes of living organism. Coloration of the eye is actually something you can see, okay? It's not talking about the internal structure of what the eye, okay? Yes, so the answer to this is B, which is morphological variation. Okay, question number 8. Which of the following choices correctly describes the composition of the cell membrane? Okay, now let's see the diagram we have for this question. If you look here, you will see the diagram of the cell membrane. The cell membrane is actually a phospholipid bilayer, okay, made up of protein. As you can see, we have the integral protein, we have the cholesterol, we have the global protein, we have glycoprotein, we have carbohydrates, glycolipid. And by the time you look at all this combination, you will discover that the cell membrane is actually made up of, based on the options here, is made up of lipids and protein. So the correct answer to this question is B. Let's move to the next question. Question number 9, which is from ecology. We said the feeding relationship among a set of members of a community is actually referred to as what? What do you call the relationship, okay, among a set of members of a community? Now, let's see the options we have. Let's see the answer we have to this, okay? Our answer here is C. Let's look at C here. We said which is food chain, okay? Which actually answers what the question is talking about. This one is a complex feeding relationship that is found among organisms, okay? Diverse or different organisms, where one organism feeds on the other one, and this one feeds. In fact, it's a complex system. But this one, food chain, actually consists of just a set of members, okay? Now, let's go to the next question. Question number 10. Nitrogen is released into the atmosphere when what happens? Do you have nitrogen being released into the atmosphere? Let's see the options. Option A says plant absorbs mineral salts. Sugar is completely broken down, okay, through plant uptake when lightning strikes. So when is nitrogen released into the atmosphere? Nitrogen is actually released to the atmosphere, okay? If you look at nitrogen cycle, you will discover that nitrogen, even though it is made available, okay, plants don't absorb nitrogen in the form of nitrogen, they absorb it in the form of nitrates. And for that to happen, okay, the nitrogen has to react with oxygen through a series of stepwise process, okay, leading to the formation of nitrates, which plants absorb. Okay, so it is only during lightning, okay, thunderstorm and lightning, that you have nitrogen being made available to plants. Okay, let's move to the next question. Question number 11. Size, color, and fingerprints are examples of what? What kind of variation, okay, is that? When you have size, you have color, and fingerprints. Let's look at the options. Option A says physiological variation. B, discontinuous variation. C, morphological variation. D, adaptive variation. The correct answer to this is morphological variation. Let's see, okay, our answer is C. And over here, you can see the explanation I have. Okay, by the time you zoom this, you're going to see the explanation for this. Okay, one more thing I need to reiterate here is that please, whenever you go through our video, when you watch our video and you discover that there is one or two oversights over our explanation, please do write on the comment section what you feel so that we'll be able to make changes to these questions. Okay, now let's move on. The next question, question number 12. The level of organization in Spirogyra and volvulus is, what is the level of organization of Spirogyra and volvulus? Now, let's see the options. We have organ, we have system, we have cell, we have tissue. Explanation for this, as you can see, this is a diagram of volvulus, this is a diagram of what? Of Spirogyra. Okay, both of them exist at the cellular level. So the answer to this question is C. Let's move to the next question, question number 13, which is still on cell and its property. The question says, which of the following scenarios is an example of cohesion? Which is an example of cohesion? Now, if you look at this, we said water molecules stick to the surface of a mirror. This is not cohesion. Okay. Water molecules stick to the walls of blood vessels. Nope. This is not also correct. Water molecules stay on the tip of a pin needle. Okay, this is not also correct. Okay, a pin needle because the water is attracted to the surface of the needle. No, this is not also correct. Now, water molecules stick to one another and form a bead. Okay, the emphasis on this answer here is water molecules sticking towards one another. And when you have water molecules sticking to one another, that is actually a practical explanation of what cohesion is. Because like molecules are being held together by intermolecular forces of attraction between the molecules. Okay, then if it is co-adhesion, you talk about molecules or substances that are not alike. Here we also have a simple explanation for that. We said cohesion is the act or state or process of sticking together of unlike molecules or entities. An example of water molecules, okay? Now we said the tendency of water molecules to stick together is referred to as cohesion. Okay? Yes, that is the tendency of water molecules to stick together. Okay, so the correct answer to this is D. D is our correct answer. Next question, question number 14. The common thing in plants and animals is, what is the common structure or organelle between plants and animal? Now, if you look here, we said the common organelle is what? The nucleus. The nucleus is actually common between plants and animal. Chloroplast is possessed by only plants. Okay. Cell wall is also found in plants. This, as we said, is found in both plant and animal. Central is found in animal and not plant. Okay. So the correct answer to this question is C, which is a nucleus. Question number 15. The modification in structure, physiology, and behavior of plants and animal is called, what do you call the modification of structure, physiology, and behavior of plants and animal? Now, let's look at the options. Option A says adaptation. B says evolution. C says variation. D says succession. So, which is the correct answer? The correct answer to this is adaptation. And here we have a brief explanation to this. We said an adaptation is any heritable trait that helps an organism, okay, be it plant or animal, to be able to live in the environment in which they found themselves. Do not forget that for adaptation to occur, you must have a structure, okay, that will enable you to adapt or to live in that particular environment. Without that structure, you can't be talking about adaptation. Okay? Let's move. So our correct answer, or the correct answer to this question is A, which is adaptation. Question number 16. Use the diagram below to answer the equation that follows. The instrument is used to measure what? This instrument, as we have seen before in the former question, okay, is actually used to measure the speed of wind, as we identified before. In the other question, they were asking us about the name of the instrument. And in this question, they are asking us what the instrument is used for, okay? As we said earlier on, this is an anemometer, which is used to measure the speed of wind. So the correct answer here is what? Is D, which is speed of wind. Okay? Direction of the wind is measured by wind vane. Relative humidity is measured by hygrometer. Atmospheric pressure is measured by barometer. Okay? Now, let's go to the next question. Question number 17. A bacterium that is spherical shaped is called what? What do you call a bacterium that is spherically what? Shaped. Now we have diplobacillus. Okay? Do not forget that bacillus is actually a bacterium that is rod shaped. Okay? Coccus is spherical shape, okay, or round shape. We have, as I've said, bacillus too is rod shape, but just that in this very one, they occur in twos. Okay? Vibrio is a bacterium that occurs in it has a comma shape. So the correct answer to this is actually coccus. And if you look at this diagram, you see the different shapes, the different diagrams of this bacteria. Okay, we have the coccus, we have the diplococci, we have the tetrads, we have the sarcina, we have the streptococci, and we have the staphylococci. Okay, all these are different forms of cocci bacteria. Now let's move to the next question. Question number 18. The flame cells are used for excretion by what? Which animal or which of the organisms, okay, which uses flame cell for excretion? Now let's look at the options here. We have A, which says fluke, we have nematode, we have bacteria, and we have volvus. Okay, let's move to our explanation and see what we have in our explanation. We said flukes are a kind of parasitic flatworm under the class Trematoda. Okay, inside the phylum Platelminthis. Most trematodes have an intricate life cycle with at least two hosts. The primary host, okay, is a vertebra where the fluke reproduces sexually. The intermediate host is typically a snail where asexual reproduction occurs. So going by that, you discover that our answer to this question is fluke. Okay? Yes. Next question. Food chain refers to the feeding relationship between animals in a. If you look here, you see the explanation we have put up. Okay? Now, it actually refers to the feeding relationship between animals in a community. Okay? Where one organism feeds on another. We don't have like organisms feeding on themselves. If like organisms feed on themselves, in no time, you're going to have cannibalism setting in, and that animal will be at the verge of going into extinction because in no time, it will be wiped out from the surface of the earth. Now, let's go to the next question, question number 20. Question number 20 says, the host of Tinea solum is what? What is the host of Tinea solum? Okay, this is the parasitic flatworm, okay, that is found in both, this one is found in a pork, okay, pork meat. We also have the one that is found in sheep, okay. So this one is found in pork, okay. Yes, so our answer here is B.